Well, we have a Betty Crocker story for you. So when we lived in Colorado, I was with a friend who was celebrating a birthday and a friend of hers. We got snowed out, so we were at her house. It happened to be the house next door to Alan, which I did not know. And Alan was also, you had plans with Ashley, right?
My daughter, yeah, what was Ashley, like 2 or 3, and we were going to go for a hike that day, and it snowed, so we decided to bake cookies. So I was baking cookies, and I didn't have any eggs. So I said, okay, my neighbor next door, I'm a great friend with, I'll give her a call and see if she has any eggs. So I said, hey, I'm coming over. So I bop over there, open up the fence, and
Well,
go ahead.
so Cindy says to me, oh, my neighbor's coming over. He's really cute. I think you would really like him. I said, no, thanks. Not interested. I'm not interested. And so she said, oh, well, he's really cute. So in walks Alan. And I thought to myself, why did I say that? He's so cute.
So they had just gotten out of the hot tub. So she's standing there, like hair's all wet and whatever. But I thought she was totally hot. So I'm, of course, trying to think of something cool to say so she'll remember me or whatever. Yeah. And just nothing, I'm sure. It was just so.
We were both tongue-tied a bit. And we looked at each other and he hung out for a little bit. And then he left.
So we ended up, it was a while before we went on our first date, like 2-3 weeks or whatever.
Yep.
But
he got my phone number from Cindy and gave me a call, and we went out on our first date, got engaged in 3 months, married in 9, and here we are 25 years later. Alan asked me out and we went out for dinner, and he said, we were waiting for our table, and he said, well, do you want something to drink? And I said, I'll have a Qingdao. And he's like, Qingdao? You drink Qingdao? I love Qingdao. And we still think about that. And that was 25
at the
years
Imperial
ago.
Restaurant. Yeah.
Then we went and played pool and had a blast. So that was our first date.
I like to climb 14,000-foot mountains out in Colorado. There's 54 of them, and I've done a whole bunch of them, and just love to go. So I asked Lori to go, and right before I went, I decided I was going to propose to her. So my business partner at the time, the day before, I was like, okay, so I'm going to propose to Lori at the top. And he's like, Alan, what if she says no? I'm like, oh shit, I didn't even think about that. Why did you even put that thought into my head? But so anyway, we go and we climb, and the whole time up there, I'm trying to think of, what I'm going to say and whatever, but not to let Lori know that this is how I'm going to do that. So we get to the top, and Lori's just so excited, and it's beautiful up there. I mean, it just takes your breath away. So I get up the top, and Lori's over talking to some people and whatever. And I said, hey, can you come over here? And so I get down on one knee, and she thought I had like altitude sickness or something.
I thought he was sick. I was like, are you okay?
And grabbed her hand and said some nice words. And she said yes. And I said, it's a good thing because I'd have pushed you off if not. Yeah, no, just kidding. But but it was pretty cool. Yeah, then it was a great walk down for sure. So nice. Definite high.
It was really early on for me. So
for me too. Yeah.
Like I said, we got engaged 3 months after we met, and we just really connected, and we started doing everything together, and we just knew. I would say it was probably...
Yeah, we both had been married before, and we both had been dating other people, or, dating for a while. But we both had just kind of taken a break, and, we were just like, okay, we're just enjoying life, and it's good the way it is. And then I kind of ate those words when I met Lori, It was probably, really early.
Yeah, 5 or 6 weeks.
Yeah.
It's very, very early.
Yep.
Well, I definitely would have at least put my hair in a regular ponytail when I saw Alan. I'd been in the hot tub and I threw it on the side of my head and I had an old sweatshirt on. I mean, it was a disaster, let me tell you. But that's probably it.
Yeah.
It was great just to meet under the circumstances. It was very natural. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I change anything. It's been a great journey. I mean, we've come a long way, done a lot of things. So when you look back and you go, holy cow, it's been pretty awesome.
Gosh.
Well, one of mine just recently when I turned, when did you have Ash and Corey come?
Sorry if I say what birthday it
Yeah.
was. You're double nickels.
That's right. It was 55.
55.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Lori just totally surprised me with my oldest daughter and my now son-in-law. Had no idea they were coming. I had gone on a trip and back to see my sister and whatever, but just came back and she surprised me with them coming to spend a pretty monumental birthday. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was pretty sweet. Very sweet.
You know, I would say something that's very sweet for me, and I think for both of us, is just holding hands. And we see other people hold hands at all ages, especially older people. And we always say, oh, that'll be us still holding hands. So that to me is very sweet.
Well, I was backpacking. I was traveling in Europe, and my friend wanted to go to the Hofbräu house, and it was.
So they went to Hofbräu house, and I was working there in Munich. I was a refugee from Bosnian War, and
he was in the back of the Hofbräu house by the bathrooms. I saw him back there, and
there's like 1,000 people in there, and she saw a Bosnian refugee in a crowd. What was I doing?
smoking and kicking his cigarettes. And...
So people were going to bathroom at Hofbräu house because they do a lot going. And everybody was smoking at the time, so I would like tell them, "Oh, I can't smoke in a bathroom." So I would take their cigarette and then kick it back in the crowd. So that did it for her.
I'm like, who is that guy?
Who does that? So, rest is.
And then his friends were sitting near us and came over, and they didn't speak English very well. One of them did, and asked if we wanted to go somewhere else. And I said, no, I'm not going anywhere else. I don't even know how we're going to find our way home. And then Dario came over, and I was like, okay, we'll go.
I stopped kicking cigarettes at
Yeah.
that point. Yeah, and I did not speak English, which probably was a good thing. Amy did ask me, "Do you speak English?" I'm like, "Yes." Jack Daniels, Marlboro, Cadillac, and Bill Clinton at the time.
Yeah.
So she's like, "Done, good enough." So she still thinks that's all I speak. Oh, that's the same answer. Yep, yes. Answer is yes. 25 years of both. We met in July,
We got married in January.
and Amy went back to the States, and we spent physically a couple of weeks before we got married. Maybe.
Yeah.
Her laugh. And she was, since I was refugee in Germany, she was very open, expecting, and fun and cheery and kind of different than what I used to. She accepted me.
Yeah, same. He was very different than what I was used to. So,
Yeah, you don't see people kick cigarettes in
but yeah,
Village Inn.
but you were also very affectionate and kind, and I don't know, different than American men that I had known.
And yeah, since we lost everything back home in Bosnia, and my family at that time was in Germany, but not with me, so I was living with my friends. So we were just kind of very having fun and being kind of just enjoying everything. As crazy as it sounds, once you lose everything, you kind of just enjoy what you have. So that's when I met Amy. Both is the same. It's, yeah, yes. Yes, we do. Yeah. Yeah, we almost didn't make it.
Well, that's true. Actually, we were going to meet at the Hofbräu house at a certain time because it was before cell phones and email and all of that, and we were late. And my friend didn't want to go, and I was begging her, and finally talked her into going.
And my friends is like, don't wait for her. It's just, American girl. Who cares? Let's go whatever they have planned. And I'm like, no, let's just wait. She'll come.
We
She'll
were
come.
really late.
And we were leaving, and we just met outside of Opera House. Because if we miss each other, then we probably
We ran
wouldn't
into
have.
each other in the street, basically.
If we didn't do that, probably we wouldn't see each other ever again. So. Almost right away for some reason. I don't know how and why. It's like everybody gets that train once in a lifetime. You jump on it or not.
Yeah.
So we did jump. It was kind of mutual
Yeah.
decision. Since I was refugee, I could not leave state of Bavaria in Germany. So legally, I didn't even have a passport. So Amy's like, "Oh, you should come, visit me." I'm like, "I don't think so. Can't do that. Can't even go visit my family in Frankfurt, which is different province in Germany." And I didn't want to say, "Oh, you want to marry me?" And so we kind of decided mutually. Amy's like, "Oh, we can get married." I'm like, "Yeah,
It was the only way we could be together.
yeah." She's always sweet, and me not so much. I'm savory. I'm chef. I wouldn't change anything.
Yeah, I don't think so. Be patient.
No, I think it's been good.
Yeah.
49 years ago, he was in the Air Force. I was living at 3408 Dewey with Stephanie and Emily and Patty and I. And one of the girls knew a guy from the base out at Scribner. I think it was probably Stephanie. So we went out there and to the base, to the NCO club. And I met a guy there, not him. And I was interested in the guy, but I went one weekend and he wasn't there, or maybe he was with somebody else. And I met this guy. So I spent the evening with him drinking Pabst Blue Ribbon and dancing, a lot of dancing. And 49 years later, we're here. But there is a hook to this story. He doesn't remember it because...
Too many Pabst Blue Ribbons.
So that's how we met. My first impression was he's really good looking.
I should have brought my picture along that you got hanging on the wall in the office.
Oh, what's your first impression of me?
Beautiful,
That you remember.
beautiful blonde.
That's all I need.
Well, I remember vividly the first day we met, but of course I'm not sure I remember the first date because there were so many. We did a lot of camping because you were out at Scribner.
Yeah, we did some camping.
I don't like to camp, but I was young. 3 or 4 months after we met. You weren't so sure.
I was running scared.
When he left to go to Okinawa, we didn't leave on the best of terms. But then I wrote him a letter, and he wrote back, and that was it. Will be 47 years, October 28th. He actually proposed to me in a letter.
Communication, there was really no direct phone communication from where we were on the island. It had to be two-way radio. So it wasn't really too personal. Figured from the mail it's going to be directly given to her. And
I still have the letters too. In a box with a red ribbon around it. Well, besides giving me my 2 kids, taking care of my mom.
yeah, that was a great experience. She was a wonderful woman.
Well, I think for him it would be not to be drunk.
Yeah.
I don't regret anything.
We were in 5th grade?
Well,
6th grade?
Yeah,
Which one?
it was 5th.
5th
Fifth grade math
math
class.
class. We sat next to each other. We didn't really like each other.
You didn't like me.
Yeah. But then,
We started dating in 7th grade
it's been a while.
for a couple years, and then we had a year break, and then we've been dating
Since
since junior year of high school.
junior year of high school. So we met. Middle school sweethearts.
Pretty much. I don't know.
I don't know. Just kind of felt right.
I guess, I mean, we had that year break, and then when we got back together, I think that's like, it's meant to be.
Couldn't stay apart.
You know? Been together 7 years. Married for a year and 4 months.
Yep.
Huh.
You proposed.
We were in Tennessee, and we were with my aunt. We walked down. We went to this waterfall, and then we had to like take the trail down there. And it was kind of funny because my aunt had the ring, and then we tried to do like a little handoff, and we dropped it.
I had no idea at all. I was so surprised.
Yeah, then we kept going, got to the waterfall. I was like, hey, we should go take a picture like over there. And we had to climb over these huge rocks to get the waterfall in the background.
And I was like, but here's so much better. And he's like, no. We need to go over there. Because we were like going to be standing on this tiny spot.
Yeah, it was neat. It was really neat. The waterfall.
And it was a
cool.
fake ring.
Yeah. The lady didn't get the ring in time.
It was a big deal. But
She did like a double look at it. I was like, it's not the one.
I don't remember it like that. But he's always said that.
But
I was surprised and happy.
yeah, you were very surprised. Be my wife.
I just think it's a lot of the little things, especially being in school, and that kind of consumes everything I do. So just the little things of like taking care of the things around our apartment and working.
Just loving each other.
Yeah,
Can't pick one thing. Just kind of.
all the little things.
Yeah.
Don and I met in the 9th grade. I had
74.
1974. I grew up in Laverne. He was the new kid on the block. And I don't know. I don't know if it was a pattern for me or not, but it was like, oh, he's the new boy. So I don't know, it just kind of happened. He was tall, blonde, long hair, and he wasn't a jock.
Built to be the guy.
Built to be the
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
And then Don has the rest of the story, which I didn't find out about until several years later. So our first date was at an all-night drive-in, which is a tradition in Laverne when we were growing up. It's on Labor Day weekend and Saturday night of Labor Day weekend. They start the movies and it goes till morning. And everybody goes.
Well,
it's
4
just
in the
one of those
morning.
things. Till 4 in the morning, yep. So
So I had only been in Laverne for 3 weeks, and I met Steve and Pat, and when we got bored, we would smoke Old Golds. It was just kind of the thing, you know. But anyway, they said, you're going to go to the all-night drive-in. I go, what is that? Well, they have an outdoor theater. You drive your cars there. And went, oh, cool. So I get permission to go, you know, the new 9th grader without a car, you know.
well, you went
So,
with your brother Brad. Took the blue
Well, you got
station
to have a
wagon.
date to go there. I go, well, I don't know anybody. He goes, well, we'll probably
Gloria and Lorna.
Gloria and Lorna.
Gloria's my best
I
friend.
said, well, okay, so we should draw straws. Well, actually, they broke toothpicks, and then I drew the short one, and that was for Gloria. And I said, well, I'm probably going to trade this one in for Lorna, and the guy traded me. And
True story.
true story. So that's how that was our first date, and after that, it was like
Inseparable.
pretty much.
Yeah.
That's the way it went. Besides nice ass and
I can't say
I mean,
that.
can you believe how beautiful she was? And I mean, you're talking about, well, for me, I mean, I was back, it was probably, geez, I was 140 pounds.
I might add, I was like 95 pounds. Skinny mini, no boobs, nothing. It was, yeah. Aw.
Yeah.
I
Is
never
there
heard that
more?
before.
Is there a connection that's beyond passion or something? I don't know.
Well, our first date would have been the drive-in, right?
Yeah.
It was all night long. I don't even think we made out or anything. We might have. Did we? I'm sure we kissed.
I know we did that. But yeah, it was like new being in Laverne, and then I'm like, I can't believe I'm with Lorna because I switched straws or toothpicks, I guess, and here I am sitting in somebody else's car in the back seat watching a movie on date night till 4 in the morning. So yeah, it was it's something you'll never forget. I mean,
I
it was
know.
hours and hours. It wasn't like a 2-hour date, you know.
But, you know, to this day, I don't know what the movies were.
Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. Well, we both kind of discussed it. Within a month, I can honestly say that I was like looking in bridal magazines at age 14 going, this is the man I'm going to marry. And I don't know why, it just felt right.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about two people that could sit in a recliner together, blue jeans next to each other for a couple hours, you know,
We did break up for a little while, our senior year in high school.
which was probably important.
It was. So when people say, how do you know anything? Not that he and I experienced life. We had a fun, I don't know, it's a fun summer. Well, we had a summer of separation and got back together the following fall, our senior year of high school. And I don't know.
I could probably control my depression, but it wasn't easy. I don't know that it was easy for her either, but
To be apart.
to be apart.
We've been married for 41 years, just had our 41st anniversary in September. And we were together 4 years prior to that, so it's like 45 years. Neither one of us were 18. And we were in the mall.
Yeah, and we went looking for wedding rings,
Yep.
together. And, maybe that sounds kind of silly, but at the same time, even though I'm sure I asked you,
Yeah,
and I said,
we should just get married, I think is what.
would you marry me? And
Yeah.
do you mind going looking for rings? And
It wasn't a down on the knee thing or anything like that.
it was pretty exciting because we both agreed on the same ring.
Mhm.
And we had a history with that jewelry lady,
Well, no, we didn't have a history at that point. After that, we did.
Horowitz. Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah. And she always recognized me
yep.
because I was 17, you were 17.
Mm-hmm.
And we had to go find somebody that would actually either co-sign
wouldn't
or
finance the
buy the
ring
ring.
for
They
us
wouldn't
to
finance the
get
ring.
it.
I mean, it was like, even though, I don't know, I worked hard even back then.
I know, but didn't have the
Yeah.
money to pay for the ring. So you financed. Back in the 70s, you financed everything. And we were in the mall, and Don's parents were shopping too. And everybody was always kind of scared of Don's mom. But I remember.
Except for me, but
Yeah, and I wasn't either. But so they just happened to be over in Sioux Falls shopping that day. It was during the holidays. And he went and found his dad, and I took his mom, and we went coat shopping. And he asked his dad to co-sign for our wedding ring, my engagement ring. And then he kept it a secret from her for 3 weeks.
so
But
then
yeah.
the proposal was over Christmas.
Yes.
But I had to tell my dad the story.
So he could co-sign to pay for the ring. He always has a few surprises, not very often, but when he does, it takes me totally by surprise. He's a very caring, nurturing person, always has your back.
Best thing she's done is been there for me and supported me.
That's almost like saying, do you have any regrets? In my opinion, I don't. I wish we would have had more time together, but I'm looking forward to what's coming.
Sometimes I wonder if we were acting more mature than we should have for our age,
Yep.
and we were independent together and we were independent individual. But I don't regret that.
It's so long ago. I
We were just
it
kind
had
of
to be-
always there.
It had to be inquired. I don't know.
Yeah, when we were little. I remember LeAnn first, probably.
Yes, because you were intimidated by her.
Yeah. No, before that even though.
LeAnn stood behind Erin for a year or so in choir. So
Sang
yeah.
very loudly.
Yes.
We both did eventually.
Yeah.
And your mom.
Of course.
You were always kind of there.
I was around.
We dated in high school, but
Yeah.
we met sometime before that.
It was a while before that. Yes.
Years.
Years.
I mean, I started when I was 7. So we grew up together. Well, I guess it wasn't much because we have no idea when we met. But we were little.
We were little. Yes.
When things start getting, like, when we started paying attention to each other was probably Tybee.
Yeah. Tybee Island.
Was our tour.
I thought you were cute. I mean, you clung to me in the ocean, so it was kind of
Yeah, you were tall, so that was convenient
Yeah.
for me.
a jellyfish or
Because
something.
we
went
were all
by, or-
swimming out in the ocean, and I was the shortest, and so I couldn't touch. No, there was a large fish. It was not a jellyfish.
It was something.
Everyone thinks this fish is
I don't think
fictitious.
it was a large fish.
This was a real fish. It swam between my legs. It was like a shark, maybe. I don't know. So he was safe. I grabbed him. And it didn't really start then, but that's when it kind of started.
No, it started for me then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well then.
It took a while before you found out.
A while.
No, why? 6 months.
That seems to be a repeating
Whatever.
pattern. It took me a while to know. Yeah, our story's not clean. It's not like we met and then we dated. It was like we met a long time. We finally dated in high school
After
for a
much
couple
convincing.
years. There was some on and off and off and on. And then,
That's maybe our story.
yeah. Well, and then you went to college. That kind of fizzled things out a little bit.
That put a damper on things.
You came home a lot, though.
Oh, yeah. There was a girl.
Yeah. But then it kind of ended. I don't remember that part. No. And then, I mean, we were always kind of friends.
Yeah.
Friends. I don't know. Were we friends?
We were friends.
We tried to be friends. It's hard to be friends with someone you like. But every time, like, if I came home, I would always visit you.
For sure.
But when did it, like, really start then again? There's a lot of years in between there. 15?
Yeah.
Like, because when we dated in high school, it was like 1997. And we got married in 2017. So there's, this big
There's a big
space.
gap in between that. Somebody was in California.
Yeah. I like California. We could go back. Oh, well, that's why I moved back.
I know.
I should have just came and fetched you. Now we're here. So, and then even when I came back, though, it didn't work out. It was off again.
It was off again. This might be the longest we've been on. 3 years?
That doesn't bode well. Yeah. No, but once we finally got together, it was like, we're doing this. Like, let's stop being stupid. Let's just do this. This is what we're supposed to do. Like, this is the story.
Don't fight it. Let's do it.
Yeah. The off again is not the story. It's just the hiccup in the story. Well, we've been married for 2 years now. Mm-hmm. And together, I mean, over the last 20 years, probably a total of like 5 or 6 years.
5. I'd say 5.
On and off.
Yeah.
And off. Yeah. And back on.
22 years now.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our romance can drink. It's old enough now. Bartend even.
Yes.
It would probably bartend with all the off and the on.
Right. Well, probably have problems. I knew in the ocean.
I think we kind of always knew. We always knew, but it just was never, like, the circumstances were never working out. But you just have to work the circumstances out. I mean, that's what you got to do. You got to abandon the beach and move back to Nebraska. And then really convince him, even though he wanted it, that we're supposed to be together. No?
Sure.
You took some convincing.
Did I?
Well, no, I guess that's not it. It's that I didn't know. Like, we've always known each other's the one, like, that we should be together, but we never communicated that to each other.
We were just supposed to know, I guess.
Yeah. So, you know, there's spends a lot of time like, is this supposed to be, does he like me too? Does he like me like I like him? Like that much or not? He's pretty
I like
stoic,
to keep her guessing.
as you know. So finally I was like, this is ridiculous. We're doing this.
That's why you asked me.
Well, that was a few months after we got back together.
Yes.
Like finally.
Yes.
We got back together in August and I proposed in February. Because I was like, let's just do this. And you'd already moved in.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone thought it was fast. It's not fast.
I don't think it can be fast after 20 years.
It was a long time
It was
coming.
inevitable.
Yeah. I took him to Avali first
She
and
did.
got him the big steak.
She got me drunk.
2 bottles of wine, cocktails, and after dinner drinks. I knew this would work in my favor. And then, I'd written him a long letter. We used to write each other letters back and forth, like in a notebook. So I got a new notebook and I wrote him a letter. And, and then I made
You
it.
made the board.
I have, it's like a sign. I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's this little folding thing and it says, marry me. And he was like, what? What? Huh? I'm like, well, I'm asking you to marry me. He's like, what?
I was drunk.
I think you were just confused. So you kind of said yes.
I said yes.
Did you?
I made you formally ask me.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, I painted it on wood. I mean,
I wanted to hear
is
the
that
words.
not formal enough?
I needed the words.
I mean, I didn't buy him a ring or anything.
Where's my engagement ring?
Speaking of which, he gave me this ring in 1998. So, we kind of always knew. Yeah, I made a person. So I think that was a pretty sweet thing that I did for you.
I think the sweetest thing you ever did for me was the surprise birthday trip to Portland.
I do like surprises.
That was fun. I had no idea where we were going.
Wine tasting on your birthday.
Had me convinced we were going to Seattle, and then she pulls out a guidebook for Portland.
The anticipation of the surprise.
It was fun. It's a good trip.
You do little things all the time. Like I've been asking for French toast forever, which is a little bit of a tall order when you're semi-vegan and gluten-free. But he whipped out French toast this morning. He always makes food and you buy flowers sometimes. It's just the little things.
Just kiss her already.
Yeah, because that took a while. Because that was a whole summer or year and a half later when we finally got together.
So I was dating someone else at the time, and we went to visit his sister at her work, and Justin was an intern, the summer intern. And I threw a ball at his face.
Yes.
And we just hit it off as friends. So
I was sitting at a desk and all of a sudden I hit the face with a rubber ball. That's how we met.
that's a sweet story.
Yeah.
I thought he was super cute.
I had hair then.
What'd you think of me?
Well, you're awesome right away.
It's playful.
Yes. Playful. Somewhat violent, throwing balls at me. No, we hit it off right away.
Yeah. You took me to a Husker game after September 11th, which I will always have a. That was our, just as friends, we went to the Husker game, and it was
That's
fun.
right.
We just talked the whole time, and
That was the first like public event I think either one of us went to after that situation.
Yeah, after that happened.
Because the Nebraska game had been postponed because of it. And it was a random Tuesday, I think. Yeah, that's right. And we just talked the whole game.
Uh-oh, that's a stumper. We were friends for a long time before we actually started dating. So I like the fact that you saw me at my worst and loved me anyways.
Probably the fact that we were friends before we
Yeah.
dated was probably the key to that. I think that was yeah, definitely. I agree with that.
Yeah. So I don't know if there ever was like he's the one moment. It would just kind of naturally evolved, which was even better, I think. Married for 14, together for 17? 17. We got married in Vegas. I think that's fun.
We went horseback riding, 4 hours before our wedding? Who else can say
It wasn't
that?
quite 4 hours, but yeah.
Yes, it was.
Well, that's true. And then we got delayed in traffic, so they pushed back our
Yes.
wedding. But
And I had to explain to you that we weren't going to make the original time.
exactly.
Yeah.
And we got the choice between Skinny Elvis, Fat Elvis, or the Justice of the Peace. And we did go with the Justice of the Peace, who I think was pleasantly surprised that we were sober and not.
No, he
pregnant.
was. He was incredibly relieved that drunk people were not. He was marrying the first non-drunk people of the day. Yes.
Exactly.
And I accidentally tipped him $100.
Yes.
That was supposed to be for our dinner, and I meant to give him 20, and I gave him the 100 that your dad gave me for the expensive dinner we're gonna have out, which I ended up buying anyway. So yeah, he got a $100 tip.
I think he appreciated it.
I think he did too, and he appreciated that we weren't drunk.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yay.
I'm not the sweetest person ever. You've done all kinds of sweet
Well,
things
he
for me.
used to write letters. He used to write me letters and notes. He'd put notes in my lunch and
Oh yeah, that's not a very good soundbite. Used to.
used to.
So no, we would every now we used to do this a lot more. But we should do it more. Is like notes on the bathroom window, like a sticky note.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Have a good day.
Bathroom
Like
mirror,
very
yeah.
normal stuff, but just like little reminders of. Now it's just my sweet presents every day that you.
Oh, exactly. Exactly.
It wouldn't be related to our relationship. Like that went. There isn't anything I'd change about that. Any advice would be unrelated to that. So I guess that's probably a compliment.
Oh,
But yeah,
thanks.
but no, I don't think I'd give any advice to me back then as it relates to us. There's lots of advice I'd give to me related to other things, but not that.
We met at Kelly's Hilltop Bowling Alley. And I was bowling on a junior league. How old were we? 14?
14.
Maybe 14. And my best friend introduced me to this guy because she was going to the same junior high. And he was pretty cocky then. Hasn't changed.
First thing I noticed was that she had a real nice caboose.
Okay.
And she still does. We were fast friends from just about the moment we met.
Pretty much. Well, you never spent time outside the bowling alley together, though.
Not too much.
Not until later. You bowled together.
Yeah.
Our senior year of high school, we bowled with my mom and your mom.
Yes.
Four eyes, called because we all wore glasses. The day we met, we got to talking about his girlfriend that he had just broken up with. What was her name?
I don't know.
Oh, you do too. Mary Julin?
Okay.
Okay. You'd just broken up with her, right?
Okay.
And I made him a bet that they would get back together again.
And you lost.
And I Eventually I lost, yes. So yeah, that was part of our introduction. Bullshit from the beginning, and it just kept going.
I don't even remember the first date. Went to a hockey game early on. When you fell asleep.
What year was that?
I don't remember.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I was tired.
That was probably our first date, but I don't.
Yeah, I don't know if we considered it a date, though, did we?
Went to a hockey game. You fell
Well,
asleep.
can't two friends go to a hockey game?
I guess. We were watching All-Star Wrestling.
Yep. I was back living with Mom. I was sitting in a chair. He's laying on the floor. And I don't remember if it was the Baron von Raschke or Baron von Raschke. And he turns and looks at me and says, "You think you ought to get married?" And I said, "No." "Why not?"
You didn't say that.
Yes, I did.
No, you did.
I said, I said no. You don't remember why, and then I gave you the reason?
Because you don't want to lose your best friend.
Exactly. Now that lasted all of about 10 minutes maybe. I don't even know if it lasted that long. And what, 6 months later, we were married?
Probably about 4 or 5.
That's right. It probably was 5 after that. Yeah. So 5 months later, we had a wedding. Yeah. By the time Billy and LeAnn see this, we will have been married 44 years. That's hard.
Too many to remember them all. Right?
Yeah, it's really hard.
Because I've done so many that it's hard for you to remember all of them.
That's right. We'll go with that.
All right.
Oh, wait a minute. One time, it took him a while to realize that it's sometimes I like flowers, and he saw no redeeming value in the gift of flowers because you can't eat them.
If you can't eat it or smoke it, don't grow it.
Right. That was it, yeah. But one year, he got me 2 bouquets of each, like a dozen, I think, different colored roses. Yes. So yeah, that was a big deal for him. And I think whichever dog we had at the time knocked him over and wrecked him.
Probably to give each other space, room to breathe.
And he always says, he's should have been smarter sooner, and figured out that we should have got married. And I just said, no, we had to go do our own thing first. So the timing must have been just right.
We were both serving in the Navy, and I saw her on a walkthrough after some training, and we ended up working together, and she was my boss for a while. And she still is kind of the boss, but that's debatable, I guess. So I don't know. We just started hanging out on shift, and as with a lot of things, you get to know the people you work with, and
we're working 12-hour shifts from 5 to 5, either AM to PM or PM to AM. In those early morning hours, conversations can go anywhere.
all decorum just goes out the window. There's nothing good that happens except getting to really understand somebody.
Yeah, so there's definitely never trying to impress each other or show off or anything. There were no pretenses. It was just hanging out, doing our thing.
Well, I think I was more impressed with her than she was with me. She happened to be dating someone at the time, so she wasn't wholly available. But I remember thinking that she looked really good, and that she was funny.
I thought she looked good to me.
Yeah.
So I actually do remember thinking that he was kind of cute when he walked in, but Yeah, I was basically seeing someone else, so it was just sort of like,
So I would say actually the first official date we had was it Spaghetti Works or something like that. I can't remember what that place was called in Denver. The old spaghetti factory, I think is what it was, in Denver, and it was the first kind of real, okay, let's see how this goes kind of thing, and it was probably just a really weak dinner. it just really was, but I mean back then,
it was very fancy.
yeah, I don't know if it was very fancy, but I mean we were very poor because we were enlisted Navy people, so I guess it was fancy for us, I guess you could say. So I remember it being a lot of, I don't know, just awkwardness. It was like everything that we had before was, a good friendship and a lot of fun. And then suddenly it's an official date and it's just awkward. It's just not right. So, but we got through it, and, a few more followed. And
To be honest, I don't even remember that at all.
And this is why I'm not going to talk first anymore.
If I had to say our first date, it would probably have been the Braveheart date, but
That wasn't quite a date.
that was not a date, but that was maybe what got things rolling. I don't know. No, I don't remember Spaghetti Factory at all. No.
Okay, moving on.
Right.
I wouldn't say that it was like a particular moment. I think it was just a thing that like gradually, because we did, eventually we were dating or whatever, and we just found out that the things that were important to us, we were pretty different people and we knew that, but we seemed to agree on the things that were important. And at that time, because we were pretty young, 21, 22, was the first time that I started realizing how that was important. And, we would talk about, when we're parents, if I had kids, or just life things, like real things. It just felt right. I didn't want to let this one go, so I didn't let him go.
I feel like we got married on a dare. Like we dared each other.
We did kind of. It was a little bit of a dare.
It was, I don't know. We were actually on the cusp of breaking up just because it's just an awkward situation. And
no, he was trying to break up with me because things were getting too serious.
yeah, it was. And I don't know, somehow within that fight, I just like, hey, do you want to go to Vegas? She goes, yeah, I want to go to Vegas. Let's do that. I'm like, well, and get married? And she's like, what? Are you serious? What? So I think at that point it kind of turned into more of a, are you going to go through this, or are you going to go through with this? And then we both went ahead and went through with it. And
well, we put our odds out there. I'm like, how serious are you? And he's like 60-40. I'm like, which part is the 60? Which is the 40? He's like, I think it's 60. Yes. I'm like, okay. Are you serious? Sure. How serious are you? Yeah, probably the same 60-40. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's like 3 weeks. Was it 3 weeks?
It's a couple months.
Because we had to wait for a weekend, just the way that our schedules were at work. We got a 4-day weekend every so often. And so we just basically said, next time that comes up, let's go.
Our roommate gave us 6 months. He's like, 6 months and you'll be done.
But we'd been we'd only been dating, really, like moved from friendship on 3 months.
It was like 4 months. 4 months total from
it was
dating
end
to
of April,
marriage.
and we got married in early August.
Yeah.
But we had known each other for 2 years before that.
Which is, I don't know, I guess something she tells herself to make herself feel better about the short dating
It
engagement
wasn't
process.
like, no, it was just like not, I met him and I knew at first sight he was the one. I'm going to marry that boy. No, it wasn't quite like that. And then later he felt bad that it had been so informal. So he actually got me a ring out of a bubblegum machine. It was a little mood ring with a heart in it. He had to put in a lot of quarters to get that ring because he'd seen it, in the window. They showed it. So
And
that's the one
they
you
didn't
wanted.
they didn't want me to use the hammer to just go in and get it. So it was,
So, and that was, I don't know, it was a couple days after the initial proposal that the
so one thing
The
that
bubble
I do
gum.
know about my wife is she has no concept of time. So that was actually probably about a month afterwards.
no way it wasn't a month.
It was about a month afterwards.
It couldn't have been a month. We didn't wait that. It wasn't that long.
It was that long.
Okay. Whatever.
So it was probably about a month afterwards because
Really, in the span of 23 years, what's a month or 2 days? It's like 2 days.
surrounding error. It's no big deal.
I
But
run down.
so the rest of the story is we went out to dinner and I took her up in the foothills in Denver. We were living in Denver at the time, and pulled off on it's like a lookout. It's like a lookout road or something.
Mountain.
Lookout Mountain.
Lookout Mountain.
You get a pretty good view of the city from up there, and you know I pull out the mood ring and I pop the question again.
No, you gave me. Oh gosh, no. Then you must have asked like 4 times. Because there was another time. I know what I'm thinking about is the one. It was still at home, and you actually got down on your knee and like said, "Will you be my wife?" There was no ring or anything, but it was like a more formal.
Right.
So that's the one I was thinking. The mood ring wasn't there. That's right. Okay. Okay, maybe Lookout Mountain was a month after that. But I was thinking like a couple days later, he was like more formal. He just kept improving on it. Okay, you finished. Go ahead.
So we're looking over the city of Denver, and I open up a box and it's got the mood ring in it, and she's just thrilled, man. She's thrilled. She's happy. Because I mean it was fast, and we hadn't really talked about an engagement ring or anything like that, and
it was quirky, and I'm quirky, and I like quirky. And quirky's not really in his personality, and he was doing something cute and quirky, so it was especially endearing.
So she says yes. She's very happy, and I kind of stop for a second. I go, I'm just kind of a shit, and I have her engagement ring on my pinky. So nothing horribly spectacular. Again, E5 pay, and she was. I think she was actually kind of disappointed, if you want to be truthful about that thing. I think she liked the mood ring better. I don't know. Well, she kept the mood ring. It's not like I took it back or gave it to some kid. I don't know.
It's still somewhere. But then he told me that it's a princess cut, and he picked that one because it was called a princess cut.
I still don't know what that means, but I mean, it's all good.
It's square. It's not round. So that was it. So there was after the argument, and then there was the on his knee, and then there was the mood ring.
And she said yes every time.
We just celebrated 23 years, which officially was the tipping point because we were 22 when we got married. So now we have officially been married for longer than not, like in the span of our life, which is, I'm not old enough for that.
So you take that and tack on 4 months, and that's how long we've been together.
And 2 years that we knew each other.
See, she's always thrown that in.
Look, I just got us to a quarter of a century.
Oh, okay. What's the gift for that? Silver?
Tickets?
Tickets? She likes tickets.
He just very thoughtful gifts. Like he finds a thing and finds a way to make it special. He's a really good dad, which isn't like a thing that he does for me, but to watch the way that he is with our kids always warms my heart. I like it.
I just like her hugs, man. That's it.
See?
They make me feel good.
Jackass. I think we do pretty good for us.
Yeah. I would say that, I mean, overall, we do pretty good for us. But there's, as with any long-term relationship, you're going to stumble. Listen to each other a little bit more. Pay attention to what's really being said.
Well, hang in there. I mean, just hang in there. Don't give up. But I mean, we haven't. So perhaps we have already gone back in time and given ourselves. This could be a thing. I didn't realize that we had invented time travel, but
We don't even have a DeLorean. It's weird.
We met at an adventure race that Madison's company put on at the time.
Yep, I was an intern, and actually I wasn't even an intern at the time. I was a volunteer for school, and I just signed up to volunteer for the race. And basically, I knew a girl that knew William, and the rest is history. So
Billy was always the one that kind of followed suit when it came to signing up for races and whatnot. But for some reason, this one, he was the impetus behind this. He said, dude, there's this adventure race. We're doing it. It's going to be awesome. So we did it. Along the way, ran into Madison.
we met that morning, and then after the race, we had drinks and our post-race meal, and literally sat and talked for like 3 hours after the race.
So who's William?
Billy.
Oh, yeah, Billy.
That guy that we're making this wedding video for.
Yeah, so after the race was over, we all were having drinks and hanging out, and we were sitting there, and Billy gets up and goes to the bathroom. He comes back, leans into me, shows me his phone. I start laughing hysterically. Madison looks up and she goes, "Did he show you his poop?" And I was like, who is this chick?
How does she know?
Right, well,
and I was like, well, I
I'll
know.
hang out with you.
I know about immature boys. I'm familiar with this.
So we just kept talking. Everybody bailed. They broke down the after party at the race, and then we just kept talking. And when we went outside, everything was gone and everybody was gone, and it was just the two of us. And that's the start, I guess.
And we parted ways, and that was it.
Yeah.
And then I had to find him. I reached out first. So I found, so I was like, I really like that guy. We didn't exchange any information, any numbers. So I looked on Facebook, and I was like, I don't see any Scott on Facebook that like looks like you. Did a little MacGyvering, little looking on the internet. And so I found William through my friend Michaela, and I messaged him. I was like, hey, your friend Scott I had a really great time hanging out with you guys. Does your friend Scott have Facebook? And then what did he say to you after
He
that?
sent me a screenshot of that message. He's like, "Yo, this chick wants to hang out with you. What should I do? Should I give her your number or what?" I'm like, yeah, give her my number.
Yeah. So and then we went on our first date after that.
Yeah, true. I was just like, oh, this chick's pretty cool. She's chill. I wasn't looking for a relationship. I was actually looking to not be in a relationship. Just went through a divorce, and it was just being me, and I wanted to just kind of chill and discover myself, and just kind of ran into Madison, and I was like, yeah, I probably shouldn't let this one go. I mean, she's pretty awesome, so I should probably get my shit together and just not be a dumbass.
Oh.
But I mean, I thought she was super cool, and warranted some further hangs. So that's what we did.
Yeah, and I thought he was just super sweet, super nice, like really funny, and we'd kind of gotten into some of like the serious stuff on like our first day hanging out.
True.
Like I kind of knew everything up front, which I was like, one, how could this happen to such a nice person? And two, I was like, he seems amazing. Like I wish we would have exchanged numbers, but that's why I messaged Billy.
Play it cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we went to Roja.
Yep.
Out west for some reason. We went out west.
We got frozen yogurt.
Yep.
And then you invited me back to your place, and we just had wine on your patio and looked at groundhogs, I think.
Yeah.
Behind your apartment.
Yeah. And we talked about like religion and politics, and like again got really deep on like our first date. So like, I don't know, I really appreciated that we connected on like had a lot of the same interests and thoughts, and like we really, I don't know, we had a lot in common.
And you played Black Keys on your record player and gave me wine, I think is how that worked. When you laughed at a poop picture.
I think it was like super early on. Like I just wanted to keep hanging out with him, and like we just had so much in common and liked a lot of the same things and just had so much fun together. So I was like, you want to just like move in? Like we basically moved in really fast. So
I think I'm still waiting to figure that out. No,
yeah.
I don't even know. I mean, the first day was a great start. And I was just like, oh, this is cool. And it just kind of gradually got more awesome from there. I don't think there was a specific moment.
It's been like I mean, we've grown a lot since we've been together, but also it's been like just really fun and easy also.
True.
So. Eight and a half years. So we met on June 3rd, and we've been to June 4th.
Yep.
Is it June 4th? Fuck, I always mess it up. We have friends that all have anniversaries on June 3rd, so I get their anniversaries and our anniversaries confused. But yeah, so June 4th, 2011, and so like filming this, it's like 8.5 years.
Yep. I like to do long adventure races, like ride my bike to other cities and distant places, and some of it's just like my own personal goals and needs and whatnot, and you support me in that.
Yeah.
That is mine.
And I would say, I'm not getting teary-eyed, you're getting teary-eyed. When I lost my job, just like everything surrounding that. Yeah, this was like really hard, and like he was really like encouraging and thoughtful, and like exactly what I needed during all of that. Yeah.
I think I did what I would have told myself to do, which was just let it happen. Enjoy the ride.
Yeah. I probably would have like just asked for his phone number that first night. That's probably it. But other than that, I feel like
You knew you would find me.
I know, yeah. Omaha's not that big of a town. Also, really nothing. Like I feel like we are where we are today because of the choices that we made then, and I think we're in a really great spot. So
Yeah. No regrets.
We met online before online was a thing. You didn't talk about it. You didn't tell anybody that you met online. It was
No, I literally
it was
told
taboo.
them. I don't think our parents knew like the real way we met each other for a few months because it's kind of taboo.
Yeah, no one talked about it.
No.
It's real bad, but that's okay.
Okay.
So yeah, and then we started hanging out, and we would go to lunch. Yeah, we go to lunch. We go to dinner.
That was it.
That was it.
Like I randomly just picked you out of the internet. And
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's all
the
we got.
internet
That's
ether.
it. Okay. So we went to the internet.
Yeah. And then let's
Then
see.
we were just dating. Is that?
We
there's
sort
nothing
of,
in
and then
between?
you left.
There's nothing in between.
And then he left.
There's
And
nothing
so, yeah, there's a little backstory there. You decided to pick up and go to DC. Is this where you chime in?
No. So here's what happened. All right. First thing first. Let's get this square. So, Miss Thang here, right? She's like, you're like I have a side piece, so I don't care what So I had an opportunity to take a job in DC. So I'm like, well, I got checks to chase. It's a gangster's life. I got to go.
Mm-hmm.
So we haven't chatted for about a month, and then all of a sudden this is back when AOL had like instant messenger, was that it?
Yeah.
So she sends me a message. I'm like, I'm like, oh yeah, okay. So I'm like, what's up? How you doing? She's like, you want to go to lunch? I'm like, we can do lunch. She's like, when are you free? I'm like, well, I'm not gonna be in town for a while. She's like, what do you mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, I moved to the East Coast, and she's like, oh, how the hell did you move on me? No one moves on me and doesn't tell me.
Down.
So the problem was that I talked to her and then I left and didn't have a chance to explain to her that I was leaving. So that was kind of bad on my part, but
We'll bet.
she hung around. So then she was pissed off for about a week. And then she's like, well, my birthday's coming up.
What are you doing? What are you doing? It's my birthday. I should come out and visit. So I did.
And yeah.
And then I moved out there about a year later. So that's kind of how the whole thing started. My girlfriend and I were 19 when we made our AOL.com like dating profile.
Dude, that
Because
was
how
like-
did you meet boys when you were 19?
Dude,
You had
back in
no
the day,
idea.
that was the shit.
That was what you did. So my girlfriend, I was over at her house and telling her I had a date that night, and she goes, "Oh, really? Who are you going out with?" I proceed to pull up his profile, and she's like, "Oh, interesting. I went out with him a couple of weeks ago."
And I never did like that girl. She was a hussy.
And it was like, okay, well, you came back alive, so that's positive.
That girl didn't love her mama, okay? And there's one rule my mother's told me is I don't care what she does for a living, but she gotta love her mama.
That's good advice.
That's all she told me.
Good advice. Yeah, so my friend decided to tell me that, well, he's interesting, but he's a little weird.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa,
okay.
you can't glaze that over.
Like, what does it even mean?
You just glazed over that. She said what?
You're interesting, but a little weird. And so then I asked her, like, okay, you gotta clarify this a little bit for me. And she's like, well, I mean, he's funny. He's just kind of strange. And I went, okay, well, on that note, I think I know what to do. It's too late to cancel, so we're gonna go ahead with this and see what happens. But I'm driving.
I never did like that review. That review was crap, okay? That review was crap.
Yep, so, and then I finally got to see him, and I swear I had the best night. I laughed. I've never laughed so hard, and I've laughed.
Yeah, but hold on.
Ever
wait,
since.
wait.
For the last 15 years.
Hold on. You just glazed over like the whole time.
No.
All
I'm
right,
gonna let you tell that part.
No,
'cause
that's
your
not.
first
That's
impression.
not. It's kind of all right. All right. So
That's your portion.
What? No, it's not. That's not my.
It is.
So you glaze over and I come in with details. Is that how we're doing this?
Yep.
It's kind of like okay. The good cop, bad cop thing.
Yes.
All right then. First date.
First date.
Okay, you totally glazed over the fact that you she showed up interested in. I'm just gonna wear a flannel, some jeans, and some shell toes because who cares. Plus,
I mean, I wasn't real invested at this point. I hadn't gotten like the 5-star on Yelp, so I wasn't real sure what I was getting myself into.
Right, but you totally glazed over. Who picked up who?
I just picked up you because you didn't have a car.
Right, so she bust my balls over. I had to pick you up on our first date. Well, because she glazes over the fact again that I had a car that was coming in on order. I purchased it, but it wasn't there yet. And I'm like, well, I'm not having her ride around my jalopy, so duh. So I'm like, hey, pick me up. We'll go out. So she picked me up, went out. Safe bet was the safe date is.
Going to get coffee.
Bingo! So that was a safe date. So we did that. We had coffee. And I didn't really care the fact that you were wearing flannel. I just like, oh, this girl doesn't really give two shits what people think. I'm like, okay, I can really enjoy that. I can really get into that. So that's what drew me in. And then one first date, I survived and you lived. All right. Okay.
You brought me home. I brought myself home safe. I also brought you home safe.
Exactly. So I knew she was all right because she could drive. Like she didn't scare the shit out of me when she drove. So I was like, all right, we can. So it's first date was the second date. And multiple dates after that, dinners and that kind of bit. I don't know how many times dinner was had and numerous times. And then, I don't know. Kind of just fell out because she had this other side piece, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, she's not really interested in me. So I got to move on. I got checks to chase, man. So I had to do that.
I know. You're 19. You don't know any better.
And first impressions were, I just, well, she's a ginger first off, so I have a soft spot for that. So that wasn't going for her. She had and a great personality. And it's kind of cheesy, but it's true. Like, and she just didn't give a shit about you. Like, you didn't really care. You didn't censor yourself.
And you're
around
19. You don't know any better.
And you didn't really censor or feel the need to censor yourself around me.
I don't censor myself around really anybody.
Okay.
As most of our friends will know.
Mm-hmm.
When did I know
Oh,
that he was? Oh,
You know. Nope.
two times.
Wrong answer. You best say first time I saw you. You best say that. If you
It was
do not
pretty
say
close.
that,
It was pretty close. So the first time that I knew
was
was the day that we talked online and he wasn't there. And I realized, oh shit, girl, you might have messed this up.
mm-hmm.
So that was the first time I was like,
This candy bar is on
he might be
sale.
something special.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second time that I knew was when we were literally driving out to DC. We had packed up my Honda Civic full of all my shit. And we took a 19-hour car ride together, and I survived car rides with no one. So the fact that we survived that, had a great time, found common music to listen to, just got through those 19 hours.
Let's put a pin in that.
That's kind of how I knew.
It's a good thing you met me though, because I brought the good music into your life.
No,
Dude,
I'm going to
alright.
disagree.
I'm sorry.
Might disagree.
Yo, anybody out there knows this? Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, dude.
We
Serious.
had mutual tastes. You have
Okay.
since like brought some new stuff.
Since then, okay.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
that's how I knew.
Mm-hmm.
When did you know?
When did I know?
Yeah, when did you know?
Oh, good lord. Let's see. I knew right about the time. I would probably say about the 4th or 5th plane ride. I didn't know, like, oh god, I'm so but yeah, I would say surviving the college move trip. I figured, I'm like, she's all right. I got to keep her around for a long time.
That was all right.
She's right up my alley.
I don't think I would have survived DC without him.
That was a very growing time for us.
For sure.
Because we were like in our own little cocoon. So we didn't really have like a large circle of friends that would record us and make us testify on tape. Like, we didn't have a lot of that.
No,
so,
none of that.
So then that really kind of solidified things. Was it really will make you look at your partner, that if you can survive like the trials and tribulations of just being the crumbs of somebody. Like, you got to love the crumbs of somebody. So if you can't get along and appreciate that, that's a problem. So that kind of helped us formulate, how we were going to bond together and kind of move together.
Absolutely. That was probably my favorite time.
Yeah.
I enjoyed like just our own.
Yeah,
level. We
yeah.
got to know each other so well, and I think that's put a really solid foundation to our marriage.
Because it was just us two. It was like us
You had
two.
to figure everything out together.
Yeah,
You got nobody to help you.
So it was like us two against the world, basically. It was really cool. It went boom, boom, and that was it.
Yep, correct. That's how the proposal went.
No, yeah, it was like, I don't know. Now I look back on it, it was like the cheesiest like Christmas proposal. I'm like, you're such
That's
a,
okay.
you're
You took me
such
to
a-
my favorite restaurant.
dude, you're such a doofus. You do
And that was the
me.
best.
Oh, good.
We
So-
still go there every year.
Yes, we do. We go to the same restaurant every year, and I have been since we've 21, 22.
About 2000.
Yeah.
So 19 years.
So
Yeah.
we both came home for the holidays and to see friends and family and that kind of thing. It's our favorite time of the year when we were living on the East Coast. So came
It was
back,
expensive to come.
and it was weird because I had reservations and I had a hotel room because it's not really cool like to hey man, because our parents lived here, so rent was free
That was where
while we
you
were here.
staying. Yeah, that's where we stayed during the holidays.
So I'm like, oh god, we can't do this there. So got it taken care of. So we made reservations and that kind of bit. And her mom was like, so let's go out and like, get your nails done, your hair done. I'm like, okay, cool.
She knew. She totally
And
knew.
why am I telling that part of the story? I didn't live through that. You did. I didn't get my nails did.
Yeah, no.
Anyway.
Mom totally knew. She was like, okay, we're gonna make you all pretty, pull out your fancy dress, like you're gonna go out and have a nice night. I think something good's gonna happen tonight. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
so-
oblivious. I have no idea what's going on.
We went out to dinner.
Mhm.
And then went downtown. We were downtown, so it was kind of easy to do that. And then basically just popped a question in our hotel room. So that was about it.
We opened a lot of Christmas presents and then kind of went in succession. And that was the big one.
Boom.
Okay, so we've been together for 20 years this
Boom.
year.
Okay.
We met in 99.
Yes.
And we will be married for 15 next year. I love that every night before I go to bed, and he puts me to bed every night,
Whoa,
he will go and make
what-
the bed,
Oh, God,
and he'll turn it down,
Dude,
and
no,
he'll
you're
like help me to bed, make sure I go to sleep, and then he
Well,
shuts
it's not
down
your
the house.
geriatric. Come on, Mom. Let's go to
No,
bed.
but he's You know, like you go to a hotel and, you know, you want to go and
But it's
pull the sheets back and all that and just like climb into a nice bed. And he does that for me.
I just want to make sure
That's
you're
the
comfortable
sweetest
every night.
I appreciate that.
I am not afraid to buy my woman tampons. I'll admit
Oh,
it.
that's also
I
true.
will admit it.
That's
Okay.
also true. I'm pretty happy with the way things have played out, honestly.
If I had to go back in time,
Yeah, I don't know that I would. I don't know that I'd change anything.
really?
Yeah.
0?
I think it all happened the way it was supposed to. Granted, I would be out on the East Coast, like, indefinitely. But then we wouldn't get all of this. So, I mean, there's trade-offs to life. So, no, I don't think I'd change anything.
At a Christmas party.
Yeah, that was it. She was getting ready. She was volunteering at the Christmas party. And a good friend of ours suggested that it wasn't a fair you should dress up for.
What a jerk. So I show up in like khaki pants and a sweater. It's very embarrassing. And then you left with Rachel Rush.
Yeah, I left with
And
her.
I was like, oh my. Rachel, no, she wasn't the one who
Oh,
did
yeah.
it. But Rachel is like one of the most beautiful women I've ever met in my life or seen in my life. And Don got up and left with her. And I was like, well, I have no chance.
It was a really good friend of
That
mine.
was a really
So
good
we just
friend.
we're going out. We went to Max that night. It was great.
She ended up being my maid of honor at our wedding. Oh, I thought you were super sexy. Yeah, you were drinking scotch. Yeah, you looked good.
Yeah, we talked about whiskey, and that's like, oh, a girl that likes whiskey. Oh, how about that?
But it was the kind of whiskey that you were sad about, though.
Yeah, she
I was
liked
like, oh, I like Crown. Do Crown and Cokes. And he's like, oh.
Canadian whiskey. Well, whatever. Worked out in the end.
Which I did. Did you think I was sexy?
Of course I did.
Yeah, okay.
So it was like, oh, a girl that likes whiskey. This is like not the standard girl that you're gonna meet everywhere. Like, oh, all right, this is the, and then she wasn't dressed up, but it was like, oh, she's put together and hot.
No.
Apparently, she didn't know it was a date until a certain point.
Yeah, so we went to Taco Del Rey. What is it? How do you say it?
Taco Ray.
Taco Del Rey. And he was flying the next day, so I was gonna make cookies to go over to his house and make cookies. And you grabbed some scotch, I think, and then we were like passing in the kitchen, and you kissed me. I was like, oh, this is a date. Okay, cool. Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
It was a few months later for me, like sitting in that basically the same like kitchen, like in my I guess dining area in my house, and I don't know what it was. I just looked at her and I just sort of knew that was the time. We're sitting at the kitchen table. I just knew.
Oh, I didn't know that. I think when I knew, I mean, I told you I loved you first, but I think it was months later after we'd had kind of like a rough time. And I remember you're like, you take all the time you need. I'll still be here waiting for you and loving you. And that's how I knew.
So we married 5 years, and then I guess together about 7 coming
Yeah.
up on. Next year will be 7
It's like,
together.
it was the week before Valentine's Day, which is a terrible time to start dating anybody.
I think it's the best time. I don't know.
Anyway.
We went to the Grey Plume.
No.
Not the Grey Plume, the boiler room.
The boiler room.
The boiler room, and it was just we were both of us about to go on a trip to overseas, and we knew we were both going together, but I had dinner ready on a Friday. I had a reservation made on a Friday. And we were doing our sort of like, they call it like an out processing line. We had to go through and like get all of our paperwork checked and all this other things for our deployment. And I had set up this reservation. I had my plan. I had a ring all made, had a ring made, and all this big plan. And I can't remember what it was you wanted to do, but you suggested that we do something else that night.
Yeah, so it was Adam.
Mm-hmm.
We were sitting in the deployment. I was like, oh, you know what? I haven't seen you guys at all. We should go hang out. And I messaged you, and my parents were coming in that evening as well or something. And I was like, I guess the ring had just come in.
Yeah.
And I go, oh, honey, message you. Was like, you want to go hang out with our friends tonight? And we had talked about dinner, but not actually. I didn't know we made solid plans.
I had a plan.
Well, I didn't have a plan. Anyway, so he responds back with, I thought we already had plans. No smiley face, no nothing. And I was like, okay. I was like, Adam, I guess we're out. He's like, okay. And then you were like running around. I guess you had to go get the ring or something.
I had to go get the ring, and I can't remember what story I concocted, but I had to go do something.
Yeah, you used my dad.
I had to go pick up beer for her. That's whatever beer that her dad wanted is what
He
I had
wanted
to go
Grolsch or something. It's like, and you went to over by the Brass Monkey where we always get our booze.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, it wasn't there, so I had to go to another store. It was like, they always have it. What are you talking about? And it was like, I was really aggravated with you because you were taking forever.
Yeah. Then we sat down to dinner at the boiler room, and we ordered like appetizers or whatever.
Razor clams.
Razor clams. Still love razor clams to stay for this. And I had my speech, right? I had my plan. I had my speech. One of like several speeches only that I've ever rehearsed in my life and worked through ahead of time. You know, but I had my speech, and I said it started with, "It's been a wonderful year." And that's why I started it, and
I finished it.
She started off on a something else in a different direction, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna start over. It's been a wonderful year.
That was it. That was what he had.
That's what I had.
That was the line. It was like, we already talked about this.
Mm-hmm. So then I got through that, and she kind of realized maybe what was happening, and we got to the point where I sort of got down on one knee, and I sort of looked up. And like, here comes the waiter with our razor clams at the boiler room, and he's like, and turns around immediately, goes to the living room. And then I finished my speech. By the way, I had just like 10 minutes previous before I started my first run, I texted a few people and said, "Hey, I'm about to ask Suzanne to marry me. You guys should come on down." I guess I had an idea. I said I know for sure, but I had an idea. And I saw this guy, he turned off. Of course, she said yes. The waiter came back with champagne or something.
Yeah.
Prosecco, I think. But came back and she said yes, and he brought a champagne, and then like minutes later, a few friends rolled in.
We had a party.
We had a party.
It's good.
It was great. Then I left for 7 months, and she left for like 5.5.
It was our engagement vacation.
Yeah, engagement, vacation, deployment.
It worked out. I think just continue to take me home with him, even if I'm really drunk Susie. It's always nice. And that's not nice, but I appreciate you doing that. I'm just always being there, always helping, and we just do stuff together, and it's nice. Sorry. When I came home from a deployment, he had the whole house cleaned, and I was really scared that there was going to be a whole bunch of spiders and stuff because there was nobody in our house for months. And I came home and there were flowers. There was Doug and Dotsa had
That's right.
Come and clean the house, and there were flowers and chocolates, and the house had food in it, but it was really
I think that was really nice just because I was scared that there were going to be spiders and I was going to have to work up the courage to kill them. It takes me a while. So.
I think the sweetest thing she did for me was on that same when we did get engaged. Like after I got back from that trip, I was gone like a couple months longer than she was. I was coming back to someone for the first time in a long time, and I was like, I like this feeling. This is great. And she showed up there to greet me, brought my daughter along as well, and they rode together and they both met me at the receiving line when we got back from our deployment, and she was just there waiting. And it was like, oh, this is what it's like to come home to a happy place.
You did everything wrong. And I'm really surprised that I stuck around.
I inadvertently did a bunch of these like dick guy moves, like
Asshole
moves. Like the one I remember, the funny, like I don't remember exactly, but I remember the worst one that I can think of that I feel bad about now is that like we passed each other in the hallway after we met at a Christmas party at work, and passed each other in the hallway, and she had a perfume on, and
Dolce & Gabbana light blue.
and I've since forgotten what that was, but at the time I remembered, and I said, "Hey, are you wearing
Dolce & Gabbana light blue?" I was like, "Yeah."
She said, "Yes, I am," and I said, "Oh, my ex-girlfriend used to wear that." I walked away.
And I immediately never wore it again.
I think you threw it away because
I didn't throw it away. I just wear it when you're not around.
So I would say don't be a dick. Although it did work out, so I don't know. Like don't inadvertently be a dick. That's what I probably should have said. That's what I would say to myself anyway.
Yeah. I think whenever I told you I loved you the first time and you didn't tell me back, I really wish I would have just kept telling you, because I didn't need to hear you say it back to me, but I should have just kept telling you. Yeah.